Earth was a shadow of its former self. After years of devastating natural disasters, wars, and plagues, humanity had retreated underground, creating a refuge known as Haven. Built with the most advanced technology, Haven was the last bastion of human civilization, hidden beneath the ruins of a once thriving world. Captain Maria Vega stood at the control center, her eyes scanning the barren landscape through a reinforced window. She was a seasoned soldier, her face marked by the harsh realities of survival. The hum of machinery and the distant chatter of her team were the only sounds in the otherwise silent bunker. Suddenly, alarms blared, red lights flashing ominously. "Captain Vega, we have been coming," Dr. Liam Carter shouted, his voice tense with urgency. He was a brilliant scientist and Maria's closest advisor. On the horizon, enormous alien ships emerged, blocking out the sun and casting long, dark shadows over the land. The Xar'ulth had arrived. Known for their ruthlessness and technological superiority, the Xar'ulth were a powerful alien empire that harvested resources from conquered planets. "All units, prepare defenses," Captain Vega commanded, her voice cutting through the chaos. Soldiers scrambled to their positions, setting up energy shields and arming themselves with laser rifles. The tension was palpable. Every heartbeat echoed with the fear of the unknown. As the first wave of Xar'ulth drones descended, their metallic bodies glinting menacingly in the dim light, the ground shook with their impact. The drones, sleek and deadly, fired energy beams that sliced through the air, leaving trails of destruction in their wake. Captain Vega stood her ground, firing her weapon with precision. "Hold the line," she shouted, her voice filled with determination. The soldiers around her fought bravely, but the sheer number of drones was overwhelming. "Captain, the outer defenses are breached." Dr. Carter's voice crackled through the communicator. "We need to fall back to the inner perimeter." "Understood," Vega replied, gritting her teeth. "Fall back. Regroup at the inner defenses." As they retreated, the air was filled with the sounds of battle, explosions, laser fire, and the terrifying screech of the Xar'ulth drones. The humans fought valiantly, but it was clear they were outmatched. Inside the control room, Dr. Carter pored over ancient texts and holograms. Amidst the chaos, he discovered something extraordinary. "Maria, look at this," he called, his voice tinged with hope. She rushed over, her curiosity piqued despite the dire situation. He pointed to a series of symbols and diagrams. "These artifacts, they're from an ancient human civilization. They contain advanced technology that could turn the tide of this war." Maria's eyes widened. "Do we have any of these artifacts?" "We have a few," Carter replied, "but there are more in a Xar'ulth base not far from here." Maria's mind raced. "It's risky, but we have no choice. Gather a team. We leave at dawn." The night was long and tense. The sounds of distant babbles echoed through Haven as the team prepared for the mission. They knew the stakes were high, and failure was not an option. As the first light of dawn broke, Captain Vega and her team set out. The journey to the Xar'ulth base was fraught with danger, but their resolve was unshakable. They moved swiftly and silently, the weight of humanity's survival resting on their shoulders. The Xar'ulth base loomed ahead, a fortress of alien technology and formidable defenses. Maria knew this mission could change everything. "Stay focused," she whispered to her team. "We get in, retrieve the artifacts, and get out, for humanity." With steely determination, they approached the base, ready to face whatever horrors awaited them. The fate of Earth hung in the balance, and they were humanity's last hope. The journey to the Xar'ulth base was harrowing. Captain Maria Vega and her team moved through the desolate landscape, their every step filled with tension. The ground was scorched, the air thick with dust, and the ruins of human civilization lay in silent testimony to the disasters that had ravaged Earth. The team consisted of Dr. Liam Carter, the brilliant scientist who had discovered the ancient artifacts, Sergeant Elena Rodriguez, a skilled marksman, Corporal Jake Harris, an expert in explosives, and Private Samuel Lee, a tech specialist. Each of them carried the weight of humanity's hope on their shoulders. As they neared the Xar'ulth base, the air grew colder, and the hum of alien machinery filled their ears. The base was an imposing structure, built from dark, gleaming metal that seemed to absorb the light around it. Alien sentinels patrolled the perimeter, their eyes glowing with an eerie blue light. "We need to find a way in without being detected," Captain Vega whispered. She turned to Private Lee. "Can you hack into their security system?" Lee nodded, setting up his portable hacking device. "Give me a moment, Captain." He worked quickly, fingers flying over the controls. After a tense few minutes, he grinned. "I'm in. I've disabled the security cameras and unlocked the side entrance." "Good job," Vega replied. "Everyone, stay close and stay quiet." They slipped into the base through a hidden side door, moving silently through the dimly lit corridors. The interior of the base was a maze of alien technology, with strange symbols and flickering screens lining the walls. The air was thick with the hum of machinery and the distant clank of metal footsteps. Dr. Carter led the way, following the directions he deciphered from the ancient text. "The artifacts should be in a secure vault deeper inside," he whispered. "We need to move quickly." As they advanced, they encountered several Xar'ulth guards. The team moved with practiced precision, taking out the guards silently and efficiently. Sergeant Rodriguez's sharpshooting skills were invaluable, and Corporal Harris' expertise with explosives ensured they could bypass any locked doors or security measures. Finally, they reached the vault. It was a massive circular chamber with a heavily fortified door. "This is it," Dr. Carter said, his voice filled with anticipation. "The artifacts are inside." Private Lee set to work on the door's control panel, his hand steady despite the high stakes. After a few tense moments, the door slid open with a hiss, revealing the vault's contents. Inside were rows of ancient, glowing artifacts, each pulsing with a strange, ethereal light. "These are incredible," Dr. Carter breathed, his eyes wide with wonder. "This technology is far beyond anything we've ever seen." Captain Vega nodded. "Let's gather what we can and get out of here. We don't have much time." As they collected the artifacts, a sudden alarm blared through the base. "We've been detected," Sergeant Rodriguez shouted, her eyes scanning the room for threats. "Everyone, grab what you can and move," Vega ordered. The team scrambled to gather as many artifacts as possible before racing back through the corridors, their hearts pounding with adrenaline. The base was now in chaos. Xar'ulth soldiers swarmed the corridors, their weapons drawn and their eyes glowing with malice. The team fought their way through, the ancient artifacts clutched tightly in their arms. Laser fire erupted around them, and the air was filled with the sounds of battle. Captain Vega led the charge, her laser rifle blazing. "Keep moving. We're almost there," she shouted. The team fought valiantly, their determination unwavering despite the overwhelming odds. As they reached the exit, a group of Xar'ulth soldiers blocked their path. "We're not going to make it," Private Lee cried out, panic in his voice. "Yes, we are," Vega replied firmly. "Sergeant Rodriguez, cover us. Corporal Harris, get that door open." Rodriguez fired at the soldiers, her shots precise and deadly. Harris planted explosives on the door, blowing it open with a deafening blast. "Move, move, move," Vega ordered. They burst through the door, racing out into the open air. The Xar'ulth soldiers pursued them, but the team managed to reach their transport vehicle. "Get us out of here," Vega shouted as they piled in. The vehicle roared to life, speeding away from the base. The Xar'ulth soldiers fired after them, but the team was already out of range. As they drove back to Haven, the team breathed a collective sigh of relief. "We did it," Dr. Carter said, holding up one of the glowing artifacts. "We have the technology that can save us." Captain Vega nodded, a determined look in her eyes. "We still have a long way to go, but this is a good start. Let's get back to Haven and figure out how to use these." The journey back was filled with a mix of exhaustion and hope. They had faced incredible danger and succeeded against the odds. Now, with the ancient artifacts in their possession, they had a fighting chance to save humanity. The journey back to Haven was a blur of adrenaline and determination. The team knew that the artifacts they had retrieved could be the key to humanity's survival. As they approached the underground bunker, Captain Maria Vega's mind raced with plans on how to utilize their newfound technology. The team was greeted with cheers and relief as they entered Haven. "You did it," shouted one of the engineers. "We've been monitoring your progress." The whole bunker was on edge. Captain Vega nodded, her face set in determination. "We have the artifacts, but the Xar'ulth won't give up easily. We need to get to work immediately." Dr. Lion Carter led the team to the research lab. "We need to understand how these artifacts work and how we can integrate them with our existing technology," he said. The lab was filled with a flurry of activity as scientists and engineers gathered around the glowing relics. Hours turned into days as they worked tirelessly, deciphering the ancient symbols and unlocking the secrets of the artifacts. Captain Vega coordinated defense strategies, knowing that the Xar'ulth would soon realize the significance of their loss and strike back with full force. One evening, as the team pored over their research, alarms blared once again. "Captain Vega, Xar'ulth forces are approaching," a soldier shouted over the intercom. "They've located Haven and are preparing for a full-scale assault." Captain Vega's heart pounded. "Prepare all defenses. We need to buy as much time as possible," she ordered. She rushed to the control center, her team following closely behind. The Xar'ulth attack was swift and brutal. Their ships hovered ominously above the surface, launching waves of drones and soldiers toward Haven. The ground shook with the force of their assault, and the sky was lit with the eerie glow of alien energy weapons. Captain Vega led the charge, her voice steady despite the chaos. "Hold the line. We must protect Haven at all costs." She fired her laser rifle, taking down drone after drone. In the research lab, Dr. Carter's face was a mask of concentration as he worked frantically to activate the ancient technology. "We need more time," he shouted over the sounds of battle. "Just a few more minutes." Sergeant Elena Rodriguez and Corporal Jake Harris fought alongside their fellow soldiers, their determination unwavering. The air was thick with smoke and the acrid smell of burning metal. Suddenly, a massive explosion rocked the bunker. "They're breaching the outer defenses." Private Samuel Lee called out, "We can't hold them off much longer." Captain Vega's eyes met Dr. Carter's. "We have to activate the device now, Lime. It's our only chance." Dr. Carter nodded, his hands moving with purpose as he made the final adjustments. "Everyone, get ready. This is going to be close." As the Xar'ulth forces breached the final barrier, Captain Vega saw the ancient device light up with a brilliant blue glow. "Now, Lime. Do it now," she shouted. Dr. Carter activated the device, and a powerful wave of energy erupted from the artifacts, spreading out in all directions. The Xar'ulth drones and soldiers froze, their systems disrupted by the energy pulse. The alien ships in the sky faltered, their weapons falling silent. A cheer went up from the human defenders. "We did it," shouted one of the soldiers. But their relief was short-lived. Through the haze of battle, Captain Vega spotted a new threat, a massive Xar'ulth warship descending directly toward Haven. "They're not done yet," she muttered. "We need to take out that ship." Captain Vega turned to her team. "Alina, Jake, Samuel, it's time for one last stand. We're going to board that ship and take it down from the inside." Without hesitation, the team prepared for the daring mission. They commandeered a Xar'ulth transport and made their way to the warship. The journey was fraught with danger, but their resolve was unbreakable. Inside the warship, the team fought their way through hordes of alien soldiers. The corridors were a labyrinth of advanced technology and deadly traps. Captain Vega led the charge, her laser rifle blazing and her eyes set on their objective. As they reached the ship's core, they encountered the Xar'ulth commander. A towering figure with glowing eyes and an aura of menace, he stood between them and the ship's main reactor. "This ends now," Captain Vega said, her voice filled with determination. The team launched into a fierce battle, their movements synchronized and their attacks precise. In the heat of the fight, Captain Vega saw an opportunity. "Liam, set the charges on the reactor. We'll cover you." Dr. Carter moved quickly, planting explosives around the reactor. The Xar'ulth commander fought with relentless fury, but the human's determination was unyielding. With the charges set, Dr. Carter shouted, "It's done. We need to get out of here." The team made their way back to the transport, the sounds of the reactor's imminent destruction echoing in their ears. As they escaped the warship, a massive explosion tore through the sky, signaling the end of the Xar'ulth threat. Back at Haven, the team was greeted with cheers and relief. Captain Vega stood with her team, their faces marked with exhaustion, but filled with hope. "We've done it," she said, her voice steady. "We've saved humanity." As they looked out over the horizon, the sun began to rise, casting a warm glow over the battered but resilient earth. The future was uncertain, but for the first time in a long while, there was hope. Back in Haven, the atmosphere was a mix of triumph and tension. The team had returned from their perilous mission, but they knew their work was far from over. The Xar'ulth warship had been destroyed, but the alien threat was still looming. Captain Maria Vega and her team had little time to rest. Dr. Liam Carter, exhausted but determined, gathered the scientists and engineers. We have the artifacts, but now we need to understand how to fully utilize their power. This technology can disrupt Xar'ulth communications and disable their ships, but it needs to be adapted to our systems. Captain Vega joined the group, her presence a steadying force. We don't have much time. The Xar'ulth will regroup and attack again. We need this weapon operational as soon as possible. For days, the lab was a hive of activity. Dr. Carter and his team worked tirelessly, decoding the ancient symbols and integrating the alien technology with human systems. Sparks flew and screens flickered as they made rapid progress, driven by the urgency of their mission. Sergeant Elena Rodriguez, Corporal Jake Harris, and Private Samuel Lee assisted with the preparations, ensuring that the defenses around Haven were stronger than ever. They knew that the next assault could be their last if they weren't ready. Finally, after countless hours of work, Dr. Carter stood back and surveyed their creation. A massive device, pulsating with energy, stood in the center of the lab. It was a blend of ancient and modern technology, a beacon of hope in their darkest hour. "We did it," Carter said, his voice filled with awe. "This device can emit a powerful energy wave that will disable Xar'ulth ships and drones, but we need to position it outside Haven to maximize its range." Captain Vega nodded. "Then let's move it. We don't have a moment to lose." The team mobilized, carefully transporting the device to the surface. The landscape above Haven was desolate and scarred from the recent battles, but it provided the perfect vantage point for the weapon. As they set up the device, the sky darkened with the approach of Xar'ulth ships. "They're coming," Vega said, her voice calm but resolute. "We need to activate the weapon now." Dr. Carter made the final adjustments, his hand steady despite the rising tension. "It's ready," he said, looking at Captain Vega. "We just need to flip the switch." "Do it," Vega ordered. Carter pressed the activation button, and the device hummed to life. A brilliant blue light erupted from the core, spreading out in a powerful wave. The energy pulse shot into the sky, hitting the Xar'ulth ships with precision. For a moment, the world seemed to hold its breath. The Xar'ulth ships shuddered, their systems disrupted by the energy wave. One by one, they began to fall from the sky, crashing to the ground with thunderous impact. Cheers erupted from the humans on the ground. "It's working," Sergeant Rodriguez shouted, her voice filled with joy. "We're taking them down." But amidst the celebration, a new threat emerged. A massive Xar'ulth dreadnought, larger and more advanced than any ship they had seen before, descended from the clouds. It seemed unaffected by the energy pulse. Captain Vega's eyes narrowed. "That ship must have a different type of shielding. We need to take it out manually." The dreadnought began to fire on Haven, its energy beams tearing through the defenses. "We can't hold it off for long," Private Lee shouted, his voice strained. "We won't have to," Vega replied, her mind racing. "Alima, Jake, Samuel, get ready. We're going to board that ship and destroy it from the inside." The team nodded, their faces set with determination. They boarded a commandeered Xar'ulth transport and launched toward the dreadnought. As they approached, the enormity of the ship became clear, its dark hull looming like a monstrous shadow. They managed to dock at an access port, cutting through the outer hull with precision. Inside, the corridors were a maze of alien technology and armed guards. The team moved swiftly, their every step filled with purpose. Captain Vega led the way, her laser rifle at the ready. "Stick to the plan. We need to reach the reactor core and plant the charges." The interior of the dreadnought was a chaotic battlefield. Xar'ulth soldiers attacked from all sides, but the team fought with relentless determination. Each step brought them closer to their goal, each enemy they defeated strengthening their resolve. Finally, they reached the reactor core, a massive chamber filled with pulsating energy. "This is it," Dr. Carter said, his voice filled with awe and urgency. "We need to plant the charges and get out of here." "Let's move," Vega ordered. As they made their way back to the transport, the ship's alarms blared. Xar'ulth soldiers poured into the corridors, desperate to stop them. The team fought their way through, every second counting down to the explosion. They reached the transport just as the timer hit 0. The charges detonated, and a massive explosion ripped through the dreadnought. The ship shuddered, its structure collapsing in on itself. The team barely made it out, the force of the blast propelling their transport away. They watched as the dreadnought fell from the sky, crashing to the ground in a fiery inferno. Back at Haven, The remaining Xar'ulth ships retreated, their forces decimated. Captain Vega and her team were greeted with cheers and relief. They had done the impossible. They had defeated the Xar'ulth and secured humanity's survival. Dr. Carter looked at the sky, the remnants of the battle fading away. "We've done it," he said, his voice filled with a mix of exhaustion and triumph. "We've saved Earth." Captain Vega smiled, her eyes reflecting the dawn of a new day. "This is just the beginning. We have a long road ahead, but we face it together." As the sun rose over the horizon, the survivors of Haven emerged from their bunker, ready to rebuild and reclaim their world. The future was uncertain, but hope had been restored, and with it, the determination to create a new dawn for humanity. With the Xar'ulth forces defeated and their ships retreating, a fragile peace settled over Haven. The survivors emerged from the underground bunker, their faces marked with exhaustion but filled with hope. The immediate threat was over, but there was still much to be done to secure the future of humanity. Captain Maria Vega and her team gathered in the central command room, the ancient artifacts they had retrieved still glowing with an otherworldly light. Dr. Liam Carter, ever the scientist, couldn't tear his eyes away from them. "We need to understand these artifacts fully," he said. "They hold more secrets than we've uncovered so far." Captain Vega nodded. "Let's focus on what we know first. These artifacts helped us defeat the Xar'ulth, but we need to ensure they can't be used against us." Dr. Carter agreed and set to work with his team of scientists and engineers. They analyzed the artifacts, decoding the remaining symbols and piecing together the ancient knowledge contained within. As they delved deeper, they made a startling discovery. "Maria," Dr. Carter called out, excitement and trepidation in his voice. "You need to see this." Captain Vega joined him at the workstation, where a holographic projection displayed intricate patterns and schematics. "What is it, Lime?" "These artifacts aren't just weapons," he explained. "They're part of an ancient system designed to terraform planets. The energy we unleashed was just one function. If we can figure out how to use the rest of the technology, we could restore Earth's environment." Captain Vega's eyes widened. "Are you saying we could bring Earth back to life?" Dr. Carter nodded. "It's possible, but we need to find the central control unit. According to these schematics, it should be located deep underground, near the core of the planet." The team wasted no time. They prepared for an expedition to locate the central control unit, knowing that this mission could change the course of humanity's future. Equipped with the latest technology and guided by the ancient schematics, they set out for the heart of the planet. The journey was fraught with challenges. They navigated through treacherous underground tunnels, faced the remnants of ancient defense systems, and battled the harsh conditions of Earth's core. But their determination never wavered. Finally, after days of relentless effort, they arrived at a massive underground chamber. In the center stood a colossal structure, pulsating with energy, the central control unit of the ancient terraforming system. Dr. Carter approached the control unit, his hands trembling with a mix of fear and excitement. "This is it," he said, "the heart of the system." Captain Vega and her team surrounded him, their faces reflecting the gravity of the moment. "Can you activate it?" she asked. Dr. Carter nodded. "I think so, but we need to be careful. This system hasn't been used for millennia. We don't know what could happen." With the team's support, Dr. Carter began the activation sequence. The chamber filled with a deep, resonant hum as the ancient machinery came to life. Lights flickered, and the ground shook as the system initialized. "Everyone stand back," Captain Vega ordered, her voice steady. "Prepare for anything." As the activation progressed, the energy in the room intensified. The control unit's lights grew brighter, and the hum became a roar. Then, with a final surge, the system activated, sending a pulse of energy through the planet. Above ground, the effects were immediate. The sky, once shrouded in ash and smoke, began to clear. The air grew warmer, and the ground started to vibrate with new life. Vegetation sprouted, and water sources re-emerged, bringing the promise of a restored environment. The team watched in awe as Earth's transformation began. "It's working," Dr. Carter whispered, tears in his eyes. "We're bringing Earth back to life." Captain Vega placed a hand on his shoulder. "This is just the beginning. We need to monitor the system and ensure it stays stable. But today, we've taken a huge step towards a new future." As they made their way back to Haven, the team was greeted with cheers and celebrations. The people of Haven, who had endured so much hardship, now looked towards a future filled with hope and possibility. Dr. Carter addressed the crowd, his voice filled with emotion. We've discovered something incredible. This technology will help us restore Earth, but we must work together to ensure its success. This is our chance to rebuild, to create a world where we can thrive. Captain Vega stepped forward, her voice strong and resolute. We fought hard to survive, and now we fight to rebuild. We have the knowledge, the technology, and the will to make Earth a paradise once more. Let's honor those we've lost by creating a future they would be proud of. The survivors of Haven cheered, united in their determination to restore their world. They began the work of rebuilding with renewed vigor, knowing that they held the key to a brighter future. As the sun set over the rejuvenated landscape, Captain Vega and her team stood together, watching the transformation unfold. They had faced incredible odds and emerged victorious. Now, with hope and unity, they look forward to the dawn of a new era for humanity.